On that essay, and I said, I don't even remember.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll show you the overflow.
Okay, we're going to visit John's overflow room here where he keeps a lot of his signing information. Greg and I haven't been in here yet. I didn't see this last time I was here, so I'm kind of excited about it.
Well, this
I'm not the only foreigner.
Organized in a disorganized way. This is all homes. All homes on the road. See, these are signs. And I ran out of room, so now I'm alphabetizing. This is last year's 2 of these. And then I've got the bigger ones in here. Just overflow. The home stops here, except for that. These are videotaped overflow. And God, it's just incredible.
It is. It is.
And no stopping. I found several of these. If anybody doesn't have, this is that revision.
Oh,
Lellenberg.
Oh, yeah.
Lellenberg did that for the
Great.
25th anniversary.
Take one.
I got another one. You got one too?
There's 3 here.
Oh,
Thank you.
no, John's Lellenberg gave them to me when I was in Kansas City. He hasn't done for Kansas City events.
I have one of your early ones.
Yeah, I got to do it again, but
Yeah.
But it's fascinating, all this stuff. I notice, you know, the Panama group, they're a German sign, or it's not a sign, German society. Present place in Florida.
Now, these are all signs.
These are all signs. All of these, Japanese. And
You don't have PBI out here, do you?
Who?
Our group?
Oh, yeah.
Bibliophiles?
Yeah. They're overflow.
Get this one on film.
Here's the prohibited.
There it is.
Well,
There's
that's part of it. Then I have a file of it here
Oh, my word.
because
There's PBI.
I ran out of room.
All right.
Yeah, that'd be here. I think I got a separate Nashville. Pleasant Places.
Yes? Yeah.
They may be in,
Here,
oh, where they are.
this is the PBI.
Oh, I'm sorry. What did I just get?
I don't know the book. I had it balanced under there. This would be.
Okay.
No, I
Fantastic.
think where I put the PBI somewhere special. I don't know where it is now, but I'm up to date, of course.
All right.
And yeah,
That's fantastic. It's good to see the little publication here.
These are all. Well, this is the rare thing. I can't take it out. This is my find last year. That's the Hound was serialized in the Strand, and 1 month later it was in the American Strand, and it ended in February, I think, 1892. Was it? No, it'd be 1902 or March maybe. Then it was serialized in 5 American newspapers: Boston, New York, Philadelphia, 1 other. 4. That's all that people knew about. And this is the serialization. There are 13 issues of a Atlanta newspaper, and it was 1 day earlier than the others. So this is the first publication outside of the Strand of the Hound. And a guy called me up. He's real stupid. In Atlanta, he's a collector of newspapers, and he couldn't find anything about these Holmes things. So he called London, and whoever he talked to in London told him to call me. And of course, we've got a society in Atlanta. And any library has the BSI, you know, and they can find the address.
Sure.
So I offered him a fair price, and he took it. And they're unknown, but I've got them pressed together to keep. Minnesota will, whatever they do to them.
I just want to get a run through here.
Yeah, isn't that incredible, this stuff, though?
It is.
This is all stuff ready for shipping.
This is going back to the
Well, whenever I go, these are all audio tapes. I've got a couple hundred in the house. Overflow stuff. Does anybody want some journals for 1970? Let's see. I've got 77,
Oh, absolutely.
75, 76. Well, I think there are 4 issues, but look through them, and take your turn, and get what you want. The BSI, Fordham sent me these to send to people who apply,
Okay.
and I've organized them by year.
So these would all be the same year then, right?
Yeah, but they
Okay.
may be different months.
Now, what are the fonts?
Oh, these are my correspondence files, here and over there.
Sherlockian correspondence?
Yeah, yeah. They're arranged by people, like at Bingus, I have 2 files on Bingus, 3 on Bingus. And you see, I got the Joel Beckmeyer's, Southern Illinois BSI.
Now
I got his file. And, he corresponded a lot with Starrett. And,
all the.
this is family junk here. I keep expanding here.
Now, when are you shipping?
Oh, I think I'll keep those till the whole thing goes.
Well, I'll tell you what, for 77, we've got one each of March and December and several of June, so we can all have one of June, and then
Well,
you and Greg can each have one. I'll
You
let you
fight
guys,
it out.
Yep, you guys go ahead and have it.
You fight it out.
What do we got in? All these sections. Okay.
You guys got stuff.
Yeah, this is all stuff for you to sign, of course. I'll have you following it.
Okay.
There you go.
So I asked Julie to clean the library.
Go ahead.
3 areas up there,
Ah, yes.
and there's still some snow up there. There will be in June.
How hot do you get here in the summer?
Oh, nobody has air conditioning.
Really?
You get up to 80 or 85 and 4 o'clock in the afternoon maybe, and our hot weather's in July. But it gets down to 50 at night.
Aye. And in the winter, does it get real cold, or?
Yeah, we had 13-inch snow this year.
Did you really?
Hi, guys. Hi. Hi, baby. Sigurd. This is Patch.
Oh.
Jeff and what? This is part of this is the major part.
This is.
Oh my.
Yeah, wait till you see this.
Everything is Sherlock. There's now 60% double rows, which is like having a harem. Just disgraceful, but nothing I can do. Mostly, like Nick Meyer here, there'll be a whole shelf behind the double rows. I told Nick the last time I saw him, which has been quite a while because he's out of it, out of the Holmes world, and that I had him in 12 different languages, and he said, that's more than I've got.
He's out of it totally, huh?
Yeah, his last Holmes effort was in that the wonderful movie about Vienna, with the Graham Greene. Anyway, it was a movie about Vienna, and he got on the spur of the moment, wasn't in the script. This guy said, the Swiss, wonderful line about the Swiss, 500 years of peace, and what do they have? A watch. And then he mentioned
Right,
the
cuckoo
British.
clock. Cuckoo
Yeah.
clock, right.
And he mentioned the British later on. He said, what do they have? Sherlock Holmes. But Nick's a funny guy, but I think his... I have one other gift I might as well get out. I dug these out the other day. They're 3 duplicate foreign language. And
Oh, wonderful.
this study
that's
is
very
Scarlet in Spanish, I believe. The studio in Scarlata is Spanish, and this is a German, and this is German. So if you guys want to fight over those,
Okay. Which one would you like here?
John, I'll tell you what, I'd take any one of them, so if you have a preference, because you have the biggest possibility
you
of
want
having
to sit.
a duplicate or something.
I'd like this one.
Okay.
That's what I
Greg?
agree.
Oh. Oh, partial to German.
This one?
Sure.
Okay.
I think
Wonderful.
I think this is the.
Well, get this one.
Well, the way I'll tell you the way it works.
Worked by an artist in Golden, Colorado.
Really, how cute.
And so that's from 4 bibliophiles for you.
That's
And
wonderful.
hours went into the painting of the coat, she said, and the deerstalker
I would think so.
cape, yeah. So she said it's,
Couldn't you turn it around, just hold it still?
no. All
Well,
hand.
it's cute. It's almost a clerical collar.
Aye.
That's nice.
Oh, there you
Thank
are.
Well, I haven't kept, you notice this statue.
Yes.
That was an exhibit at the University of New Mexico till recently it came back.
You know who this is, Greg?
Mm-hmm. I recognize that man.
Yeah.
I first saw it in the photograph in the article in the Smithsonian magazine.
Oh, that's right. They have that in. Yeah.
These are beautiful too, aren't
Yeah, they were done in England last year. I'm not buying all of the non-book stuff. No one could anymore. I have all the early stuff, but
Maybe pull this.
yeah, sure.
Look at that.
It's just stuff. Yeah, I've got stuff over stuff.
You do.
This is a nice. Have you seen that?
Oh, a little misprint there.
One of our printers, yeah, you saw it. One of our members is a printer, Mo Leibowitz. He's a very famous printer in the United States. He lectures all over the world on printing. And he did 100 of these and he just gave them away randomly at one BSI dinner. And just to test the BSIs after cocktails, he said only 7 people told him it was misspelled.
Oh no, how about
And of course it says down here, you see but do not observe.
that?
And
Yeah, I know.
the lid's down, all right.
Yeah. Gotta get the toilet.
Yeah, I had a terrible time. I had a toilet lid that fit the picture. It had a plastic cover,
Yes.
and it wore out. It dried out. And I had to get another toilet seat and get the picture and glue it on. Of course, once a year I put the map of Ireland on it, or the map of England on St. Patrick's Day. But it's just grown. My foreign language has grown so much.
Where are they now?
Oh, these
Oh,
two
that's
sections. Yeah, I've got so many Italian now. Ted Bergman just did, we lost one of our 2 great Swedish BSIs on 24th of April, Aki Rundqvist.
Right.
Gosh, he was a wonderful gentleman. He was a gentleman scholar. But Ted Bergman has been the BSI for years over there and a great scholar, banker. And he just retired. He's done a bibliography of Sherlock Holmes in Swedish and just published. And he lists 238, I think, canonical. So he sent me a copy and wanted to know how many I had. Well, I have 95 of the 200 in Swedish. But, well, you ready for me to
We're ready.
perform? Well, I'll shut this.
Okay. Well, we have to get that later.
Okay.
These foreign languages, 54 languages, counting Pig Latin. And I do count that. It's as valuable as Esperanto, which is up here. The bottom row are notebooks of pictures and God, I found out in there I had a Christmas card paste up of William Gillette. He was doing for his own Christmas card. And I'd forgotten I had it. This is theater, radio, television. The bottom row are the Granada scripts. I did a small favor for them when they first started, and they sent me all the scripts. I have the scripts of the next 6.
Oh, geez.
So these children's books and comics down through here. And it's an unseemly mess. They were alphabetized, and this is all Sesame Street here, or here. And these are arranged by countries. I have comics from Greece, and South America, and Germany, and France, and so on. These are referenced down here. And this is a book I want you to look at later because it's a book about includes my Touchnitz editions that belong to the Tsarina.
Ah.
And these are Baker Street Journal's Christmas cards on the top shelf, double rows, Sherlockian Christmas card. This is a complete Baker Street regular, complete strand through 1930. And it took a long time to complete the strand. I needed one issue I finally found it. And these are things that are too big. I refuse to saw a book off. This is the one I did incidentally in Japan. Did you ever get one of those, John?
I have it for you to sign.
You got one?
Right.
Gee, they're hard to get in this country. But these are artworks, and these are advertising. A lot of these are out in the storage room. Odds and there are various things. The canon starts actually here. These are big. This is the canon in English. There are about 2,400 books in this section. And over here are the current periodicals. I keep them only a year or so in here. But starting here and going across here and some up there are pamphlets and manuscripts, things, little things by Sherlockians. I have all of Bliss Austin, all those things. And this whole end of the room, including around the desk, are things about Holmes. Essays, poems, pictures, scandalous things like the sexual Sherlock Holmes. And in this little section here, 2 rows are Maurice Leblanc's pastiches involving Holmes.
Is that the Traveler's Sexual Adventures?
Huh? The Holmes and Watson, this whole section.
Right. The Traveler's.
Right. Now we have the I just was remotely on a TV show plugging that book in Canada. It's not a bad book. Have you got Ned?
No. The Tsarina's books?
Yeah. I have 4 of them. But they're interesting books. They're really fascinating. They're especially bound. That's the anagram. She was a German princess, Anna Wilhelmina Hesse. And that's the Royal Crown of Russia. And this was her bookplate. And she had 4 copies. This is the first Tuchnich edition of the memoirs. There are 2 volumes. I have The Hound and 1 other. And these were, I have the provenance here. They were sold in New York. It's an interesting story. A man in Brooklyn, unknown, as far as I know, still unknown, collected Balzac. He had a kidney disorder, I guess. And he went to Russia. The Tsar collected Balzac. The Tsar was a very literate man. He just had bad friends. Right? And he went to Russia in 1932 or 3 and bought the entire library of Castle Salo to get the Balzac collection. He brought it back to New York. And the Russians were desperate for money. Their 3rd 5-year plan had just failed. And so he took it back to New York, and he took the Balzac, and he put the rest up at Park Renee for auction. And the auction wanted publicity, so they called the New Yorker. And Francis Crane, who wrote mystery stories, is well known as a mystery writer, who later lived in Santa Fe, and that's how I got them, covered the auction for a New Yorker, and they told her they'd lay aside what she wanted at a nominal price. So she wanted these 4 Tuchnich editions. And she called me when I moved here, said, I've got some books you want. So I went up, and she said, well, you can have them for what I paid for them. And I said, I can't afford them. I've got two girls in college, 2 girls in high school. She said, well, I want you to have them. I'll give them to you for what I paid for them. I said, what'd you pay for them? $50.
Oh.
I've been offered $1,500 for one.
Right.
And she went back to England to die, and then didn't die, and came back and died in Albuquerque. Albuquerque does get you eventually. Do you have any of the Tuchnich editions?
A couple.
Yeah. See, this is this bound up.
Right. They did other Doyle stories.
They did lots. I've got the book on the Tuchnich. It's fascinating. They were 4 generations of German publishers, and they published these in English for English travelers who swept the continent in the 90s, 80s, 90s. And they would not sell them in England. And I know Woodhouse, they did one of his, and they send the English author 10 copies, period. And he wanted more, and they said, well, you have to come to Switzerland or France. They were sold in railroad stations.
Mhm.
The Queen of Sweden had the largest collection of Tosnitz. The people who did the book were here, and they were telling me about. They went to Sweden to see her collection. So I think that in the bedroom I have well, there's some here collected oil. I have a shelf in the bookcase in the bedroom, and all my audio and visual stuff is in the family room, which we can cover later. So that's it.
Great.
Single subject. The only things I've got is a phone book, and I have a New Yorker there, and toilet paper that is not Sherlockian, and a dictionary. I have a dictionary. And my desk is worn out, my chair is worn out, and so am I. But it just goes on. I added 522 books and pamphlets last year.
Added to the library?
Yeah, I had over 500 every year since Minnesota. I made the deal 5 years ago. I keep a record for them, and every year it's been over 500 books and pamphlets.
How much correspondence do you think?
I average 12 a day.
12 a day. And that includes foreign countries?
Yeah. My postage bill is even higher than my utilities. But it just goes on. It's amazing, and I like to correspond with people, but I really do get tired of. Oh, I counted last week. I was 39 letters behind, and
And how many visitors do you have?
average about 5 a month. Yeah, we have more in summer.
What did the Japanese think of this?
Well, Tanaka's been here.
Yeah.
Stayed a couple days. And Kobayashi doesn't believe me. He's a psychiatrist, and his wife's a psychiatrist. Imagine that. His wife's a psychiatrist, he's a psychiatrist. They're both crazy. And he doesn't, I don't think, believes me. And Ueda, who is the real collector in Japan, Hirotaka Ueda, he's a wonderful, I don't know him personally, I've known him by correspondence a long time. He is a computer whiz. And then the Japanese do not pay overtime. And he wrote me that for 7 weeks, he worked 7 days a week and actually had a breakdown. And they let him off, let him have a week's vacation. But he is a real collector. And he does a Sherlock Holmes column for Ellery Queen in Japan. I've got it out there. I just got, for this book, Kobayashi and I got the annual award of Sherlockian literature. And he's doing a column in the Japanese Ellery Queen, which will be out this month sometime. But the Australians have been here, both the South Australian and the architect. And the British have been here, and Jean-Pierre Cagnan and his wife from France were here. And I'm hoping to get my friend in Prague over sometime. Rudy Chichura. He's a Sherlockian, fascinating guy. He writes. I've got a lot of his scripts. He writes radio scripts. I did for their public radio, and he was in the '67 or '68 rebellion and was fired. And has never had a steady job since. Makes a living. He's doing a series of Sherlockian things for kids now in a magazine. But 3 days after the revolution last year, they offered him his job back, and he told them to go to hell.
Oh, good.
He has 3 hobbies, Sherlock Holmes, and beer, and mushrooms. He spends all his vacations up in the mountains looking for mushrooms. And he wrote me a long letter telling me about the best beer in the world was Urkel's. So I just went out
Tried
to...
it.
Well, it is. I buy it here, so I just soaked off several labels and sent them to him, and he was hushed about that. Here we had Urkel's here.
Right here.
It's
John,
one-
would you mind if I close the curtains there to take a picture of
I
your
don't
curtains? I didn't even notice those last time I
Dorothy
was
did
here.
those when we moved in here 21 years ago. They wore out, so she had to get new drapes and then cut the pictures out and put on. Each one is a different story. Theoretically, my favorite stories.
Steady. I
can't move this one.
Yeah. I suppose they'll go to
That'd be an
Minnesota
idea.
too.
Yeah.
My agreement was everything Sherlockian.
Will the disc go?
No,
No.
that's gonna go to the junkyard. How about that in 1940?
It shouldn't go to the junkyard. You do all your work here.
Yeah, but dog wants in. Ah, you want out, huh? What are you? Yeah, we can have
Hello.
back.
Oh, hi.
How are you?
Good
Hi,
morning,
how are
Dorothy.
you?
How are you?
We
What,
kept
you're,
you.
are you Greg?
Yes.
Yeah, Greg, and you met Steve before, and
And
John
John.
before. Yeah, we come in the back because they got their cameras and stuff.
We're
Dick met us for
videotaping him this
breakfast
time.
and he had work to do.
He's going out.
You going out?
I'm on my way out.
On your way out of the county?
No, not really.
Nice day. I don't know where Julie's working. I'll take you in the other stuff later.
Okay.
You remember the thing Dorothy had made for me that's over
Yes.
the desk in the bedroom?
Right. It's beautiful.
That is really a wonderful thing.
That is.
And this is my shilling, my double shilling. This is the Quaker Street Irregulars. That wonderful printer, John Rule. And
Oh, in California.
He started that, had a shilling. You know, he almost died around the first of the year. He was in the hospital for 5 weeks. And he had just finished his last little Sherlock Holmes book, and she took it to the hospital. He insisted on signing it for me, and God, I can't read it. But he's home now.
Oh, good.
He's a reformed alcoholic, and he ruined his body, and they thought this time he wouldn't make it. You want this open? I don't want to interfere with culture.
No, you're doing good. Now the Navajo or the plainsman there. You have that on your card, the Navajo Christmas card.
This?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. That's the original drawing.
Uh-huh. Who did that?
A fella in Tulsa named Walker. No, this is Walker, the father of
Tom Walker?
father of the guy in Denver.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
that's who did that.
Roy
this,
Hunt.
this is one of my favorites. This was this appeared in the London Bookman in 1933, I think. And through correspondence, I became acquainted with his son, who is a priest in the slums of London, a rather famous guy. And he talked his father into the Senate. See, I was a Chesterton collector. My collection at Notre Dame was a famous collection, 2,400 volumes. And he sent me this for my Chesterton collection, but it's Holmes too, so Notre Dame didn't get that. Did you get one of these,
No, did not.
Martindale's?
Yeah. I passed on that. Last time I was, well, it was time before last I was here. They were,
It's kind of
You just
interesting.
received it.
It's kind of unique.
it's a beautiful piece.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, this is Doyle and his signature that Doyle had taken at his desk. I've had that for years. But there's just so much stuff I can't display. So I don't, Dorothy did buy me the, have you seen this bronze that was made for Christmas this year?
Probably not.
I like this very much.
I saw that when I first came in and had to go take a look at that.
Isn't that nice? Yeah, coming down the step. This guy at the Kansas City,
I walked over there when I first came in.
Kansas City seminar, this guy displayed that, and I think he sold 3 of them. This is the award from the Japanese.
Oh, look at that.
And for the newcomers, these 2 are Applehead dolls, talking. They're aging pretty badly. And this nice bronze, this guy's disappeared. And their chess sets in here and little thing.
But there's no shit, Sherlock.
Yeah, my daughter-in-law made that. She's a credit manager at Sears, and she made that sitting at her desk.
That's beautiful.
I said, "Who's that for?" She said, "A dirty old man." These are
Look at this.
home stuff here, all of these drawers. I sent 80 T-shirts.
Can we open a couple?
Sure.
Just
80 T-shirts to Minnesota.
T-shirts.
And these
Ties.
they keep coming. Yeah, you have to. these are not, but these are down there.
That was the cup.
Yeah.
I was telling you about coming up.
Yeah.
Sherlock